There is a kind of silence that arrives before dawn. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of preparation. The room is cold. The floor is bare. There is no comfort here, because comfort was never the objective. You sit alone, and the question forms itself without language. What separates the man who masters from the man who merely wishes to master? The answer is not found in books. It is not found in motivation. It is found in the single hour when no one is watching, when the body resists, when the mind offers 10,000 reasons to stop, and you do not stop. Miyamoto Musashi understood this. He did not write about discipline as a concept. He lived it as a structure. His life was not a collection of victories, but a succession of refusals. He refused distraction. He refused indulgence. He refused the soft voice that whispers, "Tomorrow is enough." He walked alone, not because he sought solitude, but because mastery requires it. The crowd does not sharpen steel. The crowd softens it. You are alone now. This is not a punishment. This is the condition. The war begins internally. It begins the moment you open your eyes. The first battle is not against an opponent. It is against the impulse to delay, to drift, to remain in the fog of half-effort. Most men lose this battle before they know it has begun. They negotiate with themselves. They create exceptions. They build elaborate justifications for why today is different, why this one time does not matter. But every time matters. Musashi did not become undefeated by fighting only when he felt strong. He became undefeated by eliminating the space between intention and action. There was no gap. The decision was the movement. The thought was the strike. You have spent years in the gap. You know this. You have felt the weight of hesitation, the paralysis of overthinking, the exhaustion of wanting without doing. The gap is where discipline dies. It is where men become ghosts of their own potential, drifting through. Days they do not remember, years they cannot account for. Close the gap. The path forward is not hidden. It is not complex. It is uncomfortable. That is why most refuse it. Musashi trained in caves. He trained in snow. He trained when his hands bled and his body screamed for rest. He did not do this because he enjoyed suffering. He did this because the sword does not care about your feelings. The opponent does not wait for you to be ready. Reality does not soften itself to meet your comfort. You have been taught to seek ease. You have been told that struggle is a sign of something wrong, that resistance means you are on the wrong path. This is a lie that keeps you weak. Resistance is the path. When you feel the pull to stop, to distract, to numb, that is the exact moment the work begins. That is the fork. One direction leads to mastery. The other leads to regret disguised as comfort. Most choose comfort. They choose it every day. They choose it in the morning when they silence the alarm. They choose it in the afternoon when they scroll instead of create. They choose it at night when they lie to themselves about tomorrow. Comfort is not rest. Comfort is decay. Musashi lived 70 years. He spent 60 of them refining a single thing: the capacity to act without interference. No hesitation, no distraction, no inner argument. When the moment arrived, he moved, not because he was fearless, because fear was irrelevant. You are afraid. This is not the problem. The problem is that you obey the fear. You let it dictate your pace, your choices, your limits. You treat it as a master instead of a signal. Fear is information. It is not instruction. The body will resist. The mind will fabricate excuses. The environment will offer endless reasons to delay. None of this changes what must be done. You do not need to feel ready. You need to begin. There's a story told of Musashi's final years. He retreated to a cave, alone. No students, no audience, no legacy to defend. In that cave, he did not write poetry about discipline. He practiced silence. He practiced stillness. He practiced the elimination of everything unnecessary. What remained was the blade. What remained was the breath. What remained was the man. Strip everything else away. What remains of you? If the answer frightens you, that is not a failure. That is the beginning. Most men live surrounded by noise. They wake to notifications. They fill silence with distraction. They avoid the one thing they fear most, themselves. Alone, unoccupied, undefended. Musashi walked into that fear daily. He sat with it. He did not try to escape it or rebrand it as something noble. He simply refused to let it govern him. You cannot outrun yourself. You cannot distract yourself into strength. You cannot negotiate with mediocrity and expect mastery. The question is not whether the path is hard. The question is whether you will walk it anyway. The sword is not forged in comfort. It is forged in fire, in repetition, in heat that would destroy anything softer. You are the steel. The fire is the choice you make when everything in you wants to quit. Musashi did not quit. Not once. Not in 60 duels. Not in exile. Not in hunger. Not in silence. He did not quit because quitting was not a category he recognized. There was only the work. The work did not end because he was tired. The work did not pause because he was afraid. The work continued because that is what work does. You have paused. You have delayed. You have bargained. This is why you are here. This is why you feel the gap between who you are and who you could be. That gap will not close through hope. It will not close through inspiration. It will close through action repeated until action is no longer a choice, but a reflex. Discipline is not a feeling. It is a structure. You build it the same way Musashi built his mastery. One movement at a time. One refusal at a time. One morning at a time. There are no shortcuts. There is no hack. There is only the repetition that most men find unbearable. Musashi trained alone because crowds dilute focus. They create performance. They invite comparison. Mastery is not a performance. It is a private war fought in rooms no one enters. In hours no one sees. You are in that room now. The door is closed. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to applaud you. No one is coming to tell you that you have done enough. You must become the standard. The strike comes without warning. The realization arrives in silence. You are not owed mastery. You are not destined for greatness. You are given the same raw material as every other man. Time, attention, will. What you do with it is the only thing that matters. Musashi had no mentors. He had no system handed down. He forged his own path by refusing every alternative. He refused comfort. He refused distraction. He refused the ordinary life. You have accepted the ordinary life. You have accepted distraction as normal, delay as reasonable, mediocrity as inevitable. It is not inevitable. It is a choice you have made 10,000 times without realizing it. You can make a different choice. The path does not promise happiness. It does not promise ease. It promises only this: alignment. The alignment between what you claim to value and how you actually spend your hours. Most men never experience this alignment. They speak of discipline and live in chaos. They speak of strength and collapse at the first resistance. They speak of mastery and spend their years in maintenance of comfort. Musashi spoke little. He acted constantly. His life was the argument. His silence was the teaching. You do not need another lesson. You need to stop talking and start moving. The room is still cold. The floor is still bare. The dawn is still dark. Nothing has changed except this. You now know that comfort will not arrive to save you. Motivation will not carry you. Inspiration will fade. What remains is the decision to act regardless, the decision to train regardless, the decision to continue regardless. Musashi made this decision at 16 and never unmade it. 60 years, 60 duels, undefeated. Not because he was born superior, because he refused to negotiate with weakness. You have been negotiating your entire life. You have been building systems to make discipline easier, to make discomfort tolerable, to make the work feel less like work. There is no easier. There is only the work. Do the work when you are tired. Do the work when you are afraid. Do the work when no one is watching. Do the work when the results are invisible. Do the work when it feels pointless. The work does not care how you feel. Musashi did not train on days he felt inspired. He trained because training was the structure. The structure did not bend to accommodate emotion. Emotion was irrelevant. You have made emotion the master. You wait to feel ready, to feel motivated, to feel capable. These feelings will never arrive. You must act first. The feelings follow action, not the reverse. This is the inversion most men never understand. They wait for courage before they act. Musashi acted, and courage was revealed in the action. You are waiting. You have been waiting for years. You are waiting for permission that will never come, for certainty that does not exist, for a sign that you are ready. There is no sign. There is only the step forward. Take it. The mountain does not move. The fog does not clear. The cold does not warm. You move through it anyway. Musashi did not wait for perfect conditions. He created conditions through relentless forward motion. He did not ask if the path was too difficult. He asked only, what is the next step? The next step is the only step that matters. You have spent too long planning the journey. You have built elaborate maps, studied every technique, consumed every teaching. None of this matters until you move. The sword is not mastered through study. It is mastered through repetition so boring, so unglamorous, so invisible that most men abandon it before they begin. Musashi repeated the same cut 10,000 times, not because he sought perfection, because repetition eliminates thought. Repetition creates automaticity. Repetition transforms effort into reflex. You seek variety. You seek novelty. You seek the appearance of progress without the substance of it. There is no novelty in mastery. There is only repetition so deep it becomes invisible. The room is empty now. The dawn is breaking. You are alone. This is not the problem. This is the point. You do not need an audience. You do not need validation. You need to move. Musashi's final words were not about victory. They were about the way. The way does not end. It does not arrive. It continues. You are on the way now. You have always been on the way. The question is not whether the way is hard. The question is whether you will continue. There is no comfort waiting at the end. There is only the man you become through the refusal to stop. Refuse to stop.